Hey everybody, welcome to Sew with Joe. Today we're switching gears. We're heading back over to patching one of my pairs of 20-something-year-old jeans. And today we have that hole right there. And not only do we have that hole right there that is starting and is going to get bigger as I shove my finger into it, it's cold. This very thin material, the wind blows right through it, and right now it's the time of year that you don't really want that. So I am going to put a patch in behind. Actually, I already have. I've pinned it, and we'll get to sewing and we can get on with the good world news. Let's flip it inside out. So as you can see, we've got it all pinned already, and I'm just going to go in and go around. I don't think I'm going to do the entire patch. I pinned the entire patch, but I don't think I'm going to do the entire patch. I think I'll cut across part way, just because I won't need to do this much. And yeah, I want to kind of re-sew some of the actual patches on the outside to reinforce things there, so that'll make up for the strength in that area. And I can just have this. It's a stretchy denim, so it'll be a good place for a little patch of stretchy denim. And in our last time we were doing work on my blanket, and I'm going to continue, just finish off using that last little bit of red thread, and then I'm going to switch over to black. Get that first stitch in. And we can get talking about some good world news. Good world news today. Like, not, not that's not usually, just kind of some interesting stuff today. Looking at my my notes. Some good positivity coming out of the world. And the first topic for today is removing carbon from the environment. We spoke about this in an episode a little while ago. And the technology that they were using was they had a large factory set up with filters which filtered the carbon out of the air. Basically pulled CO2 out using filters. Now the technology that this new company has explored is yeah, sorry, the other thing I wanted to note about the other process was that they take the carbon and they inject it deep underground, where it solidifies and forms solid carbon, and then we don't have to worry about it anymore. It's just carbon injected back into the earth from whence it came. And this goes along a patch here. Sorry to switch gears here. This goes along a patch here, so I'm going to flip around and I'm going to do around the patch just to make sure that I don't mess it up too bad. I've sewn through so many patches. I don't mind doing it, but This time I think I will go around my mommy's little monster patch. I really like that one, so that's where we started with the red thread, and I'll go around the patch, starting on the outside, work our way to the inside later. So there's a new process for removing carbon dioxide closer to the source. So something that you can do at the actual factories that produce carbon dioxide. The most carbon emissive processes are in the cement and steel industries. So that's who the company has targeted for their studies and their testing. And their technology is that on site, on the individual company site, they apply a filter to their emissions. And it's not a filter in the same way that the other company had a filter. This is actually passing their emissions through a liquid metal. And so the way I kind of no, I'm not gonna so it's basically the CO2 gets sent through a liquid metal bath, I guess. And there's a chemical reaction which occurs, and occurs very, very rapidly. And that chemical reaction causes the carbon to be removed from the carbon dioxide. So these big smokestacks that we usually see, you put basically a liquid metal filter on top. It bubbles through and comes out clean on the other end. Now, the one interesting part about this process is that they can actually reclaim the carbon and use it in the cement process. Use it as basically, instead of sand or fillers, you can reuse this carbon, and it'll save you buying material. And I believe it also said in the steel industry they could reuse the carbon there as well for their processes. So if you're having trouble visualizing this, let's say this bong is a pipe stack and the water is liquid metal. Through the stack comes CO2. It comes in contact with all that liquid metal. A chemical process occurs and all the carbon falls out. Sorry for the dirty bong. Just figured it was the best visual for that. And so yeah, that's massive news. So if all of the largest carbon dioxide emitters could be fitted with these liquid metal filters, you can prevent a lot of pollution before it has to get out to the factory that filters out the CO2 and injects it back into the earth. So, ounce of prevention worth a pound of cure, is that how that goes? No, and for my stitches, just so if you are actually here for the sewing, I've been told this is called a blanket stitch, and I use it for pretty much everything. It just seems very strong. It uses a fair bit of thread, but that's okay because it seems to grab really well and moves with the fabric. Like, I have a pretty imprecise sewing method here. You can probably tell I'm not a professional. By any means, and yeah, unless I start getting more than 4 viewers per video, I am very thankful for all my viewers. I really am, and I have been picking up some subscribers from this, so thank you. If you are a new subscriber, thank you for subscribing. Great to have you. And please leave me a comment. I'm genuinely interested in seeing who my viewers are. Just curiosity. I like communicating with the community. I think I'm going to have to move a safety pin. Flip this back and have a quick peek. Yeah, see, we're running in. Shit. Right through it. Oh, it's okay. If we're a little lucky, I might be able to get this out without tearing it. Oh, with a little luck. I have to be able to loop it around. There we go. Will that do anything? I'm making it worse. That's like right straight through. and hey! Wow. That took way too much of my brain power. Okay, let's see what I can do with that. See if that thread survived on the other side. and then I tie it in through there. Oh man. Comedy of errors today. Alright. Comes from our liquid metal carbon dioxide bonds to really, really massive news in the world of renewable energy, responsible energy. You'd think I know the words by now. Basically, wind and solar power, because South Australia, to the tune of 1.7 million people being powered by wind and solar. They held that power continuous for 1 full week. So 1 full week where there was no nuclear, no fossil fuels, no hydroelectric. It was just wind and solar. And for a population of 1.7 million people, to be able to do that, that's pretty impressive. Alright, past the patch, flip back around. And we can continue on. And I'm just going to bounce right back up to the edge here. As I can. So let's do some numbers for South Australia. Wind and solar, one full week. Which do you think was more, wind or solar? And the way they have it broken down to is wind generation, rooftop solar generation, and then industrial or utility scale solar generation. So my guess would have been utility scale solar, then rooftop solar, and then wind. And it's exactly the opposite. Wind power supplied 64.4% of the power. Rooftop solar generation was 29.5%. So they must have a lot of panels out there. And just individuals with a meter that can feed back and forth. That's pretty amazing. Yeah, rooftop solar, 29.5% of the total power generation. And utility scale solar was only 6.2%. I guess their utility companies are a bit behind where the population is with their solar. Okay, and I've run into another patch, so I'm going to move this safety pin first because we learn from things, and I'm going to go down underneath here, just underneath where the patch is, and then I'll work my way back up to where that safety pin is, and then into the seam. So yeah, a little bit of back and forth. Ow! With the stitching today. Looks like I should probably tie off there. I keep forgetting how long this needle is and how much thread I need to leave so that I can make my final knots. I was thinking for the jeans I should use a shorter needle. I just didn't want to go all the way downstairs to grab one. So I figured I'd try it out and see how it is, and it's kind of what I'm expecting, or was expecting. A little bit big for the jeans. But I really like the needle though, it just holds well. Alright, now we need to do the bottom of the zigzag patch. Now for South Australia and their solar and wind power generation, they actually have a very large reserve, which is it's called the Hornsdale Power Reserve if you want to look it up, and it's basically a huge lithium-ion battery. And to be exact, it's the world's largest lithium-ion battery. So yeah, they use this massive lithium-ion battery when the wind and the solar aren't generating optimally. So when the demands aren't being met by continuous generation, they do have a large reserve that they can draw from. Which is super important. Probably a good way to do it is tie everything into the grid and have a big battery, because it's really difficult to supply enough power for what you demand at all times, and it would save people from having to have their own battery banks. Just have one large chunk sitting there that everyone can feed into and draw from. I know a lot of people like to be independent with their power, and that's great. It's just amazing what people can do when they come together. try and move in the same direction. Sorry, my thread got all twisted. Trying to sort that out. There we go. Yeah, if everyone comes together like that and has the world's largest lithium-ion battery, it's a good way to do it. Like I say, don't have all the individual banks. In the long run, probably better for the environment, because you don't have all the individual ones, and then, you know, the corporations are held to proper disposal laws. A lot of people will say that they do things in the name of the environment, but when it comes down to dollars and cents, that's all it's about. And when the batteries are end of life, not everyone can be relied on to do their part and have them disposed of properly. Though these days, now with all the lithium recycling programs that are coming up, those batteries are probably going to be worth money to bring them to some recycling place or have them refurbished. Would probably be cheaper than buying new. So, you know, it's all where the dollars and cents go. If you're technology minded and you know what the numbers mean, the battery is capable of storing 129 megawatt hours of energy. And for lay people, you know how your battery in your vehicle is like rated at an amp hour rating? This is similar, different math, and it's megawatt hours, so like millions of, rather than hundreds of. So yeah, just to give you some idea of the amount of power. For our next good news story of the day, we have to look towards, what was it, Slovakia. We look towards Slovakia for people where they're crazy enough to try these things. If you're from Slovakia, my apologies. You know, I don't actually know if you're all crazy. Just having some fun. But they have received certification for the first air car, and it's literally called the air car. The company that makes it is called Klein Vision, Klein Vision, and it received its certification, its flight certification, in Slovenia. And this thing's actually pretty slick. If you get a chance, check it out. Finish watching this first and then go check it out. It's really kind of neat. When it's actually a car, it looks pretty cool, and when it's a plane, it looks pretty cool. And to deploy or restore the wings, it only takes about 2 minutes and 15 seconds. and they kind of raise the wings and then suck them down into the sides of the car. So it's really interesting. If you get a chance, check it out. And on road they can do 100 miles an hour, 160 kilometers an hour. In the air, they do, their maximum altitude that they're rated for is 8,000 feet. So that's pretty darn good. Now the DeLorean in Back to the Future, I'm pretty sure it jumped at 88 miles per hour. I'm going to have to do a conversion here because takeoff for the air car speed is 115 kilometers per hour. So I'm thinking the air car is a significant improvement in lowered takeoff speed from Doc's days. I really hope everybody's getting the Back to the Future reference. Now the really interesting part, and you keep talking about where the money goes. The air car industry, the flying car industry, over the next, I think it was 20 years or something, or decade, it's supposed to be $1 trillion plus industry. So apparently this is actually happening, going to be a thing. It'll be interesting to see how they work the regulations. Like, will you have to have a pilot's license? Will it be a special air car license? You know, all these questions to be answered yet. And I'm sure it'll be different for every country, but so far Slovakia, they're all over it. And it's working. So air cars are coming. It was funny, I was talking with my dad yesterday. He's like, yeah, I was watching this Harrison Ford movie that was set in the year 2019, and I didn't catch which one it was. And he's like, yeah, they were way off. They had like flying cars and all sorts of crazy stuff. And well, we're too far off. 2022 versus 2019, that's not bad. Yeah, it amazes me all the time where you see technology in movies and then suddenly it exists. You've seen that throughout history. It's been crazy. Trek, communicators, video calls, all this stuff that was just unheard of. Space age, literally space age tech, and we're living the space age. It's crazy. The technology just constantly blows me away. I don't understand any of it, and it makes me feel old. But that's okay, because a lot of the stuff will help you make you feel younger. So you don't have to understand the technology, just embrace it, and hopefully it'll help you live longer, better lives. Now, one story that I thought was just kind of cute. Scientists have researched. They say that there are 65 documented species of animal that laugh. and I thought that was really interesting. Um, Not just on a oh that's cute, animals laugh type of wave, but more of a what's the purpose then? And what they've found is that laughter is often used when animals are playing, and they use it to differentiate between playing and actually fighting and actually being aggressive. And I absolutely notice this in people. If you're, in, you know, my my parents' language, my ancestors' language. If you're kibitzing around, kibitzing is that a Mennonite thing? Did I just use some other? I don't know. Whatever. My folks used to always say kibitzing around, and you don't want it to be interpreted as serious. You're laughing. You know, my dad, whenever we would play fight, he would laugh the entire time. He couldn't stop. He couldn't help it. I think he was just trying to remember. You know, it's play fighting with your kids. It's funny. It's not. You know, it's play. And apparently, other animal species do that as well. So when they're doing their play fighting, they'll make little noises that is similar to our laughter, just duration and intensity, etc. So I thought that was kind of neat. Well, yeah, you'll often see like MMA guys when they're in practice and stuff, they'll be like smiling and laughing a little bit and stuff in between just to make sure that there isn't that edge. I guess I forgot to trim this up. Been running a little extra cloth here the last however long since I put that patch on. That's okay. Alright, so today got that stretch done. The jeans take a lot longer to do than the blanket. The blanket's super fast. The jeans going back and forth, it's fussier, it's a little more all over the place, so it takes a little more time. Either that or I burn through my topics topping really quickly these days. So yeah, next time carry on with that. Get these jeans done. I think I'm going to do a few other things on these jeans as well before putting them back into circulation. So right on. Yeah. Thanks a lot for joining me. I really do appreciate the time we get to spend together. Yeah, good topics today. Till next time, keep chilling. Don't forget your cookie. Peace.